Hello, welcome everybody to Cellcode YouTube channel. I'm Simon, as you might already know, and we are back to our React Native live coding series. This is, as I can remember, episode 8, or maybe even 9. So last time in the previous episodes we successfully connected to the Firebase database, and in this episode we are actually going to be doing a bit of component creation, and that's what React and React Native is all about. So I want to get my hands dirty on creating the component library, and the whole idea of having a component library is that you can reuse it, and you can actually save yourself a bit of time reusing the same components, as everything should be very atomical and reusable. So whenever you need a button, or whenever you need a heading or a card or whatever it is, you can just grab it off that component library and use it within your project. So let's get ourselves familiar with probably the most common and the best known tool for creating component libraries for React and React Native, and as you can see, some other frameworks and libraries as well. Vue, Angular, Ember, these are all very common libraries, and Storybook is on its version 5 at this present of time. So we're definitely going to be using our Storybook for our component library. And what we actually have to do beforehand, or what we are actually going to be doing, I'm going to give you a bit of a background. So we are going to be creating a new repo under the same organization on GitHub, or somewhere where you actually have your code base is stored. In our case, this is GitHub, and we are actually going to publish it to npm, which is a node package manager. So we want to publish it there and keep it separate to our app, only because if you want to start a new app, or if you want to create another app, or just reuse the same components in another completely different, not relevant app, then you can reuse the component library. You can reuse the components from that separate repo. So our aim is to have a standalone component library, which is very agnostic. It shouldn't really be aware of where it's going to be used. All you have to care about is that one particular component, and just to extend the library with more components, so you can have a nice kind of set of components in that library to reuse them wherever you like, wherever you fancy. So as you can see, they also have this guide, Storybook for React Native, and this is the automatic setup. You can follow this automatic setup, or you can do it manually, or you can just do it differently if you like. There is Storybook GitHub page, where you can really get yourself familiar with their docs. As always, I'm going to put all of those links below the video, so you guys can actually see it later and refer to those links wherever you want. So the first thing for us is going to be to create a new repo in our GitHub space. So I'm going to call it React Native Lego blocks, because as I already mentioned, this is going to be reusable component library. So Lego blocks is it's a perfect name. I mean, you can call it whatever you like. You can call it React Native component library or React Native components or whatever you fancy naming it. I think I'm gonna go for this Lego blocks name because I think it's going to be actually quite cool to have it like that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we don't really need to do anything else. I'm going to create it like so, and then we are actually going to clone it to our local host. So let me create a new project. Well, let me clone the. So now we can just get to our React Native Lego blocks and going to open it. Oops. So my terminal didn't recognize the command code. That's actually quite easy to fix it. So for now, going to have it right here. Oops, just a little bit too big. Okay, perfect. So I've got my repo here. Now I could actually initialize it with some sort of README file, so that I know. There are a couple of ways of doing it. I'm actually going to use my Visual Studio text editor to help me a little. React Native Lego blocks. Might actually prepend it with Cellcode Digital React Native Lego blocks, so we know exactly what it is. Or if you want to be fancy, you can put it on 2 lines, just like so. Okay, then we can add this file, call it the initial commit, and push it up to our Git. So now there you go. We can actually preview it there. I think I'm probably, yeah, all right, doesn't matter. I'm gonna leave it like this. Right. So then the automatic setup. Yeah, so the automatic setup, it shows you that you can npx storybook CLI, but I don't have npx, so I'm just going to follow the manual setup, but feel free to do the automatic setup if you like. I'm just going to add this. And then I'm going to create, so they say that I have to create a storybook directory, and that's where this is where your storybook files are going to be stored, basically. See, there are some files being added to our repo. Actually, quite a few. Perfect. There is a nice, as you can see, there is a nice hint from Git, from my extension, from my plugin, saying that there are so many changes, and they ask me if I would like to add node modules to git ignore. I'm going to press yes, and as you can see, it just added it, and we don't see so many changes anymore, which is obviously a nice thing. We don't want to have too many changes in there. So then I'm going to create a storybook folder or directory, if you like. And then we are going to create the index.js file in there, and I will just copy it over. I will just copy it over to our index.js file. What we have to do is that we have to replace the app name. But to do that, we need the package.json, which means that we have to initialize npm. We have to initialize npm in our project, which basically does this. It creates a package.json file, which also, the command is npm init. And now it asks you a few questions about this particular package or this particular repo. It's actually a package because we npm init. We initialize npm, so that means we initialize a package within node packages space, or the workshop. Oops, my light is getting a bit dark, so let me just put it back to where it was. Anyway, so yeah, so the package name is going to be React Native Lego Blocks. The version is going to be, not gonna have it at 1.0. I'm actually going to call it 0.1.0. The description is going to be React Native Component Library. Entry point is going to be index.js test command. We can add it later, so don't worry about that one for now. Git repo is actually what we have here. The keywords, we don't have to add them now. The author, you can add it if you like. You don't have to. You can just have it blank or default. I'm gonna call it Selcode Digital. To be honest, I might just put the aircon on, because that was just a bit too cold. The license ISC, we can see if everything is fine. React Native Lego Blocks 0.1.0, yes, everything looks great. And here we go. So we just created that package.json file with the name, and we can now replace this entire right, they also want us to initialize React Native, and there are two options. You can either go for React Native Vanilla, or you can use Expo to basically use this. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go for React Native Vanilla, or actually, let me think. Because we are using Expo in the other project, I'm actually gonna use Expo here as well, just to keep things consistent and make sure that that we actually have the same kind of functionalities across the two apps, the two repos. So what we have to do, we will have to initialize Expo in our project, like we did in the other one. Yeah, so the easiest way. So there is actually a command to run. Oops. First need. Let's see if there are some features. Login, get started. Yeah, need some docs. Need some docs, and basically want to find out what is the command to use to export CLI. No. Oops. Oh, that's disappointing. One of their docs is not working, which is a shame. That was probably the one which I needed. Okay, so I think we can just run Expo in it in our project, and this is going to create it for us. Okay, I'm gonna go for a blank template this time. Expo name. We're going to call it React Native Lego Blocks. Okay. Oh, come on. Blank. Interesting way. React Native Lego Blocks. Never used this kind of editor, like a command line editor before. A URL friendly name. Oh, I see. So that's what I want to do. Basically want to put this URL in here, and the actual name is going to be React Native Lego Blocks. Cool. We can use yarn to install dependencies. which is great. Probably we're going to override our node modules. Oh, I can see it actually just created the entire thing in a new folder, which is a bit weird. How is our stream doing? The health of this stream is still good. That's good. You can see that the camera is actually still operating quite well. There is no delay or anything. All right, perfect. So what we want to do is to move all of this outside that folder, replace everything. Yeah, just like that. Excellent. We can now get rid of that folder, and now perfectly, if you're using React Native Vanilla, write your app name here. If you use Expo, you can safely remove this line. Right, let's try to remove this line then. Okay, so what's the next step? React Native add-ons. Create a file for on-device add-ons. Let me see what actually add-ons are. I haven't used Storybook for a while, so not entirely sure what they're on about. Ah, right, I see. Storybook decorators. I think I quite like the old style, the wrapper components instead of native add-ons. Let me see what are the native add-ons. Ah, right. So it actually uses Storybook as a platform and interact with it. So that's good. I'm gonna go for the native add-ons then, because we want to have a way of interacting with our components. Okay, going to import a couple of add-ons there. Now we just need to right. So we have to expose Storybook UI somewhere in our app. The easiest solution is to replace your app entry with this. So our app entry is basically this, and we can just do that. Okay. Now if we do start yarn, probably going to close this simulator for now. Not sure why this is on about the this is interesting. I think we had that problem before. We had that problem before with our main app, with our photo app. Oh, what? It's a bit weird. Oh my lord. There is always something. There is always something in our lovely development world. Things can't just go very smoothly. But that's why we're here. That's why we are doing this raw kind of live coding series, so you can see that nothing is perfect and things never go smoothly, right? That's why we are trying to. Oh, this is annoying. Nope. No. Let me just try to run Visual Studio again. I think it could have just been a bit weird. I think the reason why, I know why the reason is. So because we installed all right, chill out. So because we installed our because we initialized our repo with npm, that installed some of the dependencies and things. Then we used yarn to actually install others, and I think the package.json got a bit confused, if you like. You can also see that there is no name for the repo, so I might need to reinitialize npm. Looks like there is a newer version of. Oh, this is still on and on. Let's see if we can update Expo CLI. Not that I think it's gonna actually work, but it's always good to have the latest version of whatever you are using, because yeah, I mean, all of those people, they spend a lot of time actually getting things right, and it's always good to have the latest version to make sure that it's got all the back fixes in place, and that you're actually running the latest code, you know, with more features and things. Actually going to Google it. So it looks like a known issue. Looks like 12 days ago. They've reported it, and it looks like let's see. Open a simulator and Expo start. Maybe this is going to be a way of doing it. Probably because I couldn't just match it. I think by reopening the simulator manually, it will be able to match it. There you go. There you go. So now it can actually find it. It's a bit weird. I mean, it should be able to just get it from, you know, from your okay. There is a little problem. Oh, I know why. That's because I basically have to add this to my repo, and that's because I am using yarn and it got removed. You know, there was a bit of a mismatch when I initialized Storybook and then initialized npm and then actually initialized Expo, which created an extra folder. I had to move that folder up on the root directory, and that probably caused some issues. As probably the Storybook wasn't added to the node modules, and it couldn't find it. Just couldn't find this guy here. Let's see if this is going to be any better. Okay, there is another thing. Stories. So we don't have any stories, and this is where we have to add it. So I'm just going to copy over this file. I'm gonna add new folder called stories, and this is basically, you can think of you can think of oh no, that was a bad form. I think that was probably because I just cut it from the text input. You can think of a storybook as of your, like a playground, like a place where you display your components. So the components are going to be in a separate folder, right? And then the storybook is actually your kind of like a playground, like a demo, like a showcase, where you start adding the stories, and in those stories you describe the components. You describe exactly what the component is all about. Okay. There's actually a problem with the add-ons as well. Let me see if the add-ons are going to be any different. React Native add-ons. Storybook.index. Yeah. That's weird. npm run storybook. That could be it. Oops, sorry. I need to add this script to the package.json. She's gonna add it there, and then I'm going to run storybook. Oop. It's erroring with some velocities, with some bits and pieces. I'm not sure if this is exactly what was meant to happen. I don't think it is. Ah, okay. Sorry, my bad. I think I need to run it again, as because still seem to be somehow broken. Can't resolve React DOM first of all in velocity React. Another problem, it cannot resolve React DOM, so this seems to be an ongoing issue. Cannot run React. Still believe that, oops, that I should run yarn start and then yarn storybook, because I believe that we will need, nah, still a problem. There is still a problem. React Native Storybook started on blah blah blah. Let me see if there was something else we had to add to get it to work. Probably not. Storybook React Native. Yeah, got this. Ah, yes. I know what the problem is. The problem is, no, we had to remove it because we are on Expo. I thought it would be the app name, which we obviously changed, but it's not. I'm wondering if we disable those add-ons for now, if this is gonna change anything. It's still kind of trying to run it on some undefined local host, so it looks like there are some other issues. Storybook. How is the stream health? Looks like it's good. That's good. Nope. Looks like someone is having a similar issue. Right, interesting. So someone is suggesting to add the node path to start Storybook. Which is definitely not the case. Storybook start, it should be. Cannot resolve React DOM. So there is somebody having a problem with React DOM as well, but it's been not resolved since. Not sure. Storybook Expo. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird that it didn't work after running the steps. So Expo. Yeah. Let's see what they've got done differently. So I might actually add a name because I think that could be problematic sooner or later. So I'm going to call it React Native Lego Blocks, as you know. It's not going to be private. Storybook start. Yeah, so probably we don't need that entire command. We can just set the still has a problem with this React Native. I'm not sure why. So let me see if I have to. So with add-ons, wondering if I have to actually install them. Probably I do. There you go. Let's just add all of those add-ons to our dev dependencies to make sure we can actually use them. So I'm going to re-enable the add-ons on the Storybook index file. They never say how to actually run it. That's funny. Well, there are not really any React Native. But as you can see, this is exactly what it is. So on the left hand side there is a sidebar menu with the components and what you get from Storybook. But that's not what I'm on about. I actually want to run it myself. Nope. Some problem with transitions. Interesting. I'm wondering if this is going to fix it. So if that is missing, then definitely we can just re-add it, right? Surprisingly, that should be just a part of Expo install. No, still nothing. Transition group at 1. Maybe we can just add React Native transition, React transition group. Okay, and then run Storybook again. Velocity React, that's another one. Velocity React. So the Storybook doesn't really say anything about its dependencies and what it needs. But here I am to actually debug it for you and run it for you to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. And if you run into those problems, you can actually just follow the steps that I've been doing. No. Okay, so there is more. So let me see, there is Storybook UI. Let me see if Storybook is there. And there is UI, there is this, there is modules, there is UI again, and there is root.js, which for some reason could probably just add React DOM to not modules and probably just get rid of the React transition group and Velocity React. Oops. Okay, here we are finally. Oh dear, that took me a while. So this is the Storybook we've added. You can see that this is just a basic boilerplate template. You can basically come up with like your own layout, and you can play with all the things that you're doing here. So you can definitely modify the entire thing. It's entirely up to you how you want to set your Storybook, and that's the great thing about it. As you can see, this is quite so you see this is quite complex, and this is basically what you can do with your Storybook. You can put like different kind of filters on your previews, and you can see what sort of actions and what props the particular component has. Let me just make it a bit bigger for you. Oh, sorry, that is already quite big. But this is the whole point. The Storybook is to have all of your components and add-ons and things in one place. So whenever you get into it, whenever either a developer or somebody from the business or even a graphic designer gets to the Storybook, they can see straight away what kind of components you've got available in your app, and they can say, oh hey, we are missing some bits, right? So you see there is the loading, and you can see how it renders, what needs to be what you can copy over, because the whole point is that you can just copy it over to your app, to your code, and use it, which is absolutely great. This is the whole point of the Storybook. So we've got 10 minutes left. I can probably tell you some good news, probably breaking news. My friend and I went to Krakow last week, to Poland, and we went to the app.js conference, which was absolutely amazing. We've got some videos or video coming up for this event. We went for the conference on the 4th and the workshops on the 5th, and the video is going to be uploaded to our channel. As a slight spoiler, I might say that they're going to upload the video to their channel as well tomorrow. I just got a message from the organizers, and yeah, don't miss on this. Don't miss that one out, because it was a great conference. It's definitely worth watching it, because there was a lot of useful information from Expo contributors or Expo owners, as well as people working for Expo, and they were telling us about the upcoming releases and the changes and everything. But also there were many people from around React Native and Expo community who actually gave amazing speeches, and their presentations were fabulous. I mean, I couldn't be more happy for going over there, and watch out for the video coming up very soon. But yeah, anyway, back to our code. Let's see if I can run it. If I can run it on our client. Oops. Unable to resolve. It's unable to resolve it. It's definitely installed. Let's see what other people might have to say about it. They say, right, I see. So that's probably because it's Expo and the Webpack configuration it's actually kind of hidden. It's behind the scenes. So I would have to eject to get the Webpack config files to get it resolved. And I definitely don't have time for that today, but we'll give it a go next week. And for now, I'm going to add it all to our repo, so we can say, hold on, if I can actually do npm init again, see if this is going to. So the package name is going to be this. Version is going to be 1. Sorry, not 0.1. This, we don't need keywords. We might put Selkit Digital as an author, and just a basic. See how that worked. Okay, so I'm just going to copy it all over to the top. Brilliant. Now we can just add all of those changes. So we can say npm init plus expo init plus storybook init. That's hopefully everything we just did. We can push that up to master. So we've got our latest changes in our repo. Let's just quickly go to see if that is in there. Yes, excellent. As you can see, we've got our files added 16 seconds ago. So that's very good. And yeah, so we just got this storybook to work, and unfortunately we are running out of time. But next week I'm going to be adding some components and some stories to this repo, so we can start building the components and start previewing them. I will also fix this this simulator, so we can run it on our simulator or our mobiles as well, and then we could preview it on web or our mobiles, as this is the whole point. This is the whole goal of having Storybook. So the developers could actually preview it on their simulators or mobiles or wherever they want, but you could also send it to your colleagues, or you know, like your designers or somebody, or your family or whoever, and show it to them so they can see the components as well. And then with those components, the developers and the designers can work closely together to decide where to take it from there and build like a roadmap using those components, and then build the entire app using those components, right? So this is gonna be the whole point of having it. And yeah, again, if you like the video, if you do like the live streaming episodes or series, don't forget to like the video and do subscribe to the channel, because we are going to have more upcoming videos and news in the next few days or few weeks. So thank you very much for watching again. Bye for now.